Hello everyone, welcome to the new video. So today again we'll discuss some DevOps interview question. So yeah, let's go. In our resume, most of the time we add keywords like I have worked on deploying serverless architecture or event-driven architecture or containerized deployment or something you write about disaster recovery and backup. So when you write these keywords in interviewer pick up these keywords, and they mostly ask like if you have worked on serverless architecture or if you have written that you have worked on event driven architecture, then what exactly have you done? And you should have a proper answer to let the interviewer know that actually you have worked on it, or you have as only you have written some fancy word. So in event driven architecture you can include this in your resume. The only thing is that you should know what event driven architecture is. Basically the event driven architecture is something which is triggering through events. Okay, so whenever there is a code push, the pipeline is getting triggered itself. It's getting triggered through event. Like there is a code commit and the pipeline is getting triggered. So for that, you can explain how you have configured GitHub webhook, whatever you have used or you have scheduled the job. Can explain it accordingly. Once the pipeline is getting triggered, whole pipeline script get executed, like is executed, where it is like build is happening, then deployment, testing, everything is happening. After the deployment, how you the infrastructure is getting provision, and according to the load, this is also event driven. Whenever a load or a traffic comes high, then how auto scaling groups are, they are in place. How the servers are going up and down according to the min and max replicas that we have defined. So if some error is there, if some deployment is failing or something is happening, then how we are rolling back to the previous version, how we are monitoring everything. So this all comes in event driven architecture. So whenever an interviewer pick up any keyword from your resume, you should have proper justification. If you have written something like if you have worked on optimization of code or anything, how have you done it? You should have a proper justification to it. And it's good that you are including these keywords to attract and make your resume more more visible and more attractive to the viewer. But you should also have proper explanation to it. Second question, like these questions were which came to me in comment also, that I've also picked, like what are the stages inside the QA pipeline, and who is responsible to create the pipeline. So basically the stages are same. First the code will be pushed, our pipeline will check out the code, then build the code, then the test will happen of the check of code quality will happen, then it will go for deploying the code or pushing the code into artifactory. Then if you want to create a docker image, then docker image is created, and then for deployment it will go. So who is responsible to create the pipeline script? So basically the viewer asked me this, that is it I think Chaitanya, he asked these questions. So basically DevOps engineer is only responsible for creating this pipeline. Tester will not create it. DevOps engineer will only create the pipeline. So the next question was, if application build and dockerize in dev environment, do we need to build the code in QA and also in prod environment, or just we have to use existing build image? So if the image is created and that image is pushed into the artifactory, whatever artifactory you are in your organization, whatever it is used, then the same Docker image can be used in deploying the application in prod, dev, QA, whatever environment it is. So basically that image should be pushed into an artifactory. So that's, you don't have to build the image again and again, the same image can be used. So that's why the image concept was brought, so that we don't have to build it again and deploy it again on every server or whatever we where we want to deploy. Image is like a full package, so it can be deployed on every server, whatever kind of server it is. So we don't have to create an image again and again. So we have to write our pipelines in such a way that the image creation is happening at end. So whenever the deployment is happening, we are pulling the image, and then we are using that image for deploying the application. So question is, if I'm using single parameterized pipeline per repo, then all the stages pipeline will execute per every environment, or particular stages will execute in different environment. So you have to, if you are using the parameterized pipeline, then you have to put condition check also, that if, when, for that we use when the environment is this, then what stage you want to execute, when the environment is this, then what stage you want to execute. So you can skip some of the steps in some environment. So no, it's not necessary that you have to perform all the stages in all the environment. You can skip the stages according to the requirement. For that you have to use when condition. Then there were also some comments to list down some Linux scripts that are used in organizations. So basically Linux scripts are used for like cost optimization purpose. Like you might have written some, in most of the organization, we write Linux script for, shut down the servers, for cost optimization, for managing the servers, for restarting the server. So why we are writing the script? Because if it has to be done on few servers, like 5 servers, then a person can do it manually, fine. But if suppose, imagine there are 1,000 servers and you have to restart them, you won't go and search every server and do the restart. That is a very tedious task. For that we write automation scripts, so that our script only fetches the list of the VM, it will restart, it will check if any error comes after the restart, it will automatically generate the result, and whatever is the error, or if it's successful, we get the result at the end. So this easy the process. So that's why we write the script for automation. If suppose we have to install some service in like 200 servers, then doing it manually will be a very long process. So instead of that we write script. So basically these kind of scripts usually in organization we use. And if suppose if we go more further, then when in some organization, when we know that if some pod is going into crash loop back of state. So basically if there is an out of memory issue, that's why that pod is going out in crash loop back of state, it's trying to restart but it's not able to come up. So in that case, we know that this is the defined process. We have to clean the logs, we have to do this, we have to do this. So instead of every time you have to log in, you have to do it, uh, the uh, the DevOps engineer, if he's well versed in scripting, he can write an automation script, and he or she, and just you have to trigger that automation script, and your task will be done and the issue will be resolved. So these kind of automation you have to build in future. So these are some examples that I'm giving. I of course I'll bring more videos on it. So yeah.
So that's all for today's video. I hope it's helpful. So yeah, till then, bye. Take care.